Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a Q&A. I asked you on Instagram to get your questions in and I received over 40, so I'm going to try my best to answer them all. How long do bunnies live? So nowadays, with proper care, some bunnies have been known to live up to 12 years, but the average lifespan for a pet rabbit is 8 to 10. What is your bunny's favourite thing to do, or what is your bunny's favourite toy? So Jasper's favourite toy is a ball. He loves his little ball that you put the treats in and he has to nudge it around. And Alice just loves anything that you have to flip up, so cups that you put pellets in, or egg cups, anything like that. He just goes crazy for flipping stuff up, as if you follow us on Instagram you probably know. How do I keep my rabbit busy? I'm scared they get bored. So definitely provide your bunny with lots of enrichment, and what you can do to help them stop getting bored with the enrichment items is actually rotate them, so not always have them all in their enclosure at the same time. And this, keeps them interested in things and keeps things new and fresh. What got you into owning rabbits? That's a great question, and from one of my favourite YouTubers. So what got me into owning rabbits? I've always really been interested in rabbits. I've loved them ever since I was little. Just really been obsessed with them. And then when I went to study animals, I just kept looking into rabbits more and more than any other species. I do look into dogs quite a lot, and birds and some reptiles, but rabbits are really my passion. How old is Captain Jasper? I love you guys. Oh, thank you. I love you too. So Jasper and Alice are just over 3 years old. They were born the 7th of the 7th, 17. And they're going to be 4 this year, which is scary. Why did you get your rabbit? So I originally got June, Jasper and Alice's mother, over 3 years ago for my rabbit Stanley, who had just lost his partner Binky, and he needed a new mate to bond with. And 20 days later she gave birth to Jasper and Alice, which we had no idea about because her previous owners did give her to us pregnant without telling us. Whether they knew or not, I have no idea, but they do breed rabbits, so they should have known. But yeah, that's why I originally got June, and the boys came as a package deal. Is dried forage high in calcium? If so, how often can I feed my bunny forage? Well, I'd say it depends on what's in the forage mix as to how much calcium is in there. I tend to feed forage mix, twice a week. Can rabbits eat flowers? It really depends on the flour. Any store-bought flour, no, because it would have been grown with pesticides, so definitely do not give your bunny any store-bought flowers that are meant for the house or anything like that. Definitely do not give your bunny those. But yeah, there are rabbit-safe flowers out there, definitely. There's like roses are safe if they have been grown without pesticides. What kind of hay, pellets, greens do you use for your bunnies? So I use Burgess pellets. I'm not sure if I say that right, but I've used those all of my bunny's life. I use organic greens for them as well, just to make sure that they haven't used any pesticides on there. And the hay I use, they love meadow hay, so I use mostly meadow hay, but I do use Timothy as well. How old were you when you got your first bunny? I was 13 when I got my first bunny. Her name was Flopsy Mopsy. She was a rescue bunny. We're not sure exactly how old she was. I only had her for 2 years, unfortunately. She was a lovely French lop. And yeah, I've had bunnies ever since, really. I think 13 is quite quite a good age to get your first bunny if you're really going to be interested in keeping them and looking after them. I think for children younger than that, they're not the best pets unless the parents are going to be the ones keeping them and owning them, and the children just there to, you know, learn how to look after an animal from the parents. But yeah, if you're passionate about rabbits and you are really going to look after them, then I think, you know, 13, 14 is quite a good age to start. Which breeds of rabbit are not found in the wild? So I'm going to put a little thing here which has all the rabbits that are found in the wild, but any domesticated rabbit is definitely not found in the wild. And there are over 300 breeds of domestic rabbit, which I'm going to do a video about later in the week, whenever I get it done, you know, busy times. But yeah, any domesticated rabbit is not found in the wild, and you will not find a lot bunny in the wild at all. That is something that has been selectively bred, and something we will talk more about in my breeds video. How do you toilet train them? So I have done a litter training video. I'll put the link in the description for you. Bunnies can be really easily litter trained, especially if you start putting the trays where they have originally peed before. And if you add hay to the tray, then it really encourages them to go there. And if they have any accidents outside the litter tray, then just ensure you scoop them up and put them into the litter tray, you know, signifying that they should go there instead of where they had their accident. What can and can't rabbits eat, and do they specifically like a certain food? I think that would be definitely dependent on the individual bunny. You know, my two have such different tastes. And I will be doing, like I said, a part 2 to the nutrition and feeding video on safe and unsafe foods. Are Netherland Dwarf rabbits usually calmer than other breeds? I personally have never owned a Netherland Dwarf, but I have studied them, studied their behaviour quite a lot, especially for my dissertation. I find them quite feisty, sassy, but really, you know, lovely breed to be around. They're not aggressive at all, especially if you keep them right. But they're just they're small and feisty. That's what I got from them. I find most dwarf rabbits to be quite feisty. I don't know if it's their compact small size, but, you know, they're a bit more scared of the world. But, you know, when you get to know them, they're very friendly. So I wouldn't say they were a calmer breed. I'd say, you know, Flemish Giants are the calmer kind of breeds. They're known to be very docile and dog-like, which we'll talk more about in my breeds video. But yeah, I think it also depends on the individual rabbit as well, because, you know, although some breeds can have, you know, like I said, Flemish Giants are known to be very docile. I think it then again depends on the individual itself. So my bunny really does not like me, and I'm wondering if there's anything I can do. So I have got a how to bond with your rabbit video out, and I'm definitely going to be doing a part 2 to that as well. But some things that I'm going to add to that part 2 would be to eat with your bunny. So when your bunny is eating, you know, eat something as well, because eating is a very social experience for a rabbit. They wouldn't eat by themselves in the wild because it would leave them open to predation. So, you know, they need that protection and to be together. Another thing you can do is lay on the floor with them. This kind of mimics a bunny flop, and especially if you kind of like pretend to flop on the floor a little bit, you know, because when a bunny flops, it's signifying that they are happy and content and they feel safe around you. So if you do that around your bunny, you know, you're just telling them, you know, I feel safe around you, and hopefully they'll start to do it around you too. And just really let them come to you. Bunnies can be really shy animals, so yeah, just really let them come to you. Have lots of treats for them when they do come to you. Try and feed them out of your hand. Put treats on you when you lay down, so they have to come and eat them off you, so they associate you with something good and learn that you're not scary. How many times a day do you feed your bunnies? So I like to spread their food out. In my last video I stated exactly how much a medium-sized bunny should be fed in a day, and that's how much I feed them. but I do like to spread it out throughout the day so they're not just getting one big lump of food, because rabbits are foragers, so they would forage in the wild, they would forage for hours on end for their food, so I really like to make them work for their food opposed to just giving it all to them in one go and on a plate. So yeah, definitely consider scatter feeding and food enrichment to help your bunny mimic those natural foraging behaviours. What is your favourite treat? Well, Jasper's favourite treat is definitely something like broccoli or cabbage. He goes crazy for that. And Alice loves rosemary. They don't really like berries anymore. They did when they were younger. Nowadays they're more into their greens and herbs. When did you decide that you wanted buns? All my life. I've always wanted bunnies. I've always pestered my mum to get me a bunny, and then I got my first one when I was 13, like I said. So yeah, I've just always been obsessed with bunnies. What kind of hay do you feed your bunnies? I briefly answered this in another question, but I feed them mainly meadow hay. That's their favourites, the one they go crazy for. I will also add Timothy hay into the diet. I think variety is really important for all kinds of foods. As mentioned in my nutrition and feeding video, can I give my bunnies grass instead of hay? If your bunny has access to continuously growing grass that they can forage on, then yes, but I would still provide hay because it's a little better at grinding down the teeth. It's still going to be good for their digestive system. You know, wild bunnies have a completely grass diet. I'd say yeah, if you have continuously growing grass, then they're probably going to eat that more anyway. In the summer, when mine are allowed to free roam outside with supervision, they definitely eat way more grass than hay. And don't be surprised if their poops are a little darker in colour and they drink less water if they have more grass, because grass has more water content. Where do I live? So I live in the UK. I was originally born in the US, but I moved over here when I was 4 and I've been here ever since. What does it mean if my bunny licks the tip of my finger and then nibbles it? He's probably trying to initiate you to groom him. So a lot of the time when bunnies want another bunny to groom them, they will go up and lick them, and if the other bunny doesn't start grooming them, they'll give them a gentle little nip to just say, please groom me. So I suspect that's what that is. How to prevent odour smell from the bunnies. The bunny's poo and urine is smelly. So if you don't already, then I definitely recommend using litter. You can get odour preventing litters, and also when you clean them out, using vinegar, as this really helps reduce the smell. What do I do if one of my rabbits just had babies but my other rabbit is pregnant? I definitely recommend to separate them, as hormonal does can be a bit aggressive towards each other, and have even been known to kill each other's babies. And I definitely recommend getting them spayed and neutered, so you don't have any more accidental litters. Thanks for watching. If you have any more questions, then leave them in the comments below and I'll answer them in our next Q&A video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.